A 16-yard run on 3rd and 10. What do they always say? A running game is a quarterback's best friend.
Well, looky. What you think might be ends up being the exact opposite of what you think. Whatever I'm going to say here, I have to add the caveat. I thought we would get blown out. We didn't. But who ever thought that Mike McDaniel would suddenly learn how to coach and call an offensive game? Inside running the football, out attempting the opponent, being physical is what I've built this channel off of and on top of with the offensive line. It's the heart of the game. Mike McDaniel's avoided that for all these years. I never thought that he would actually figure it out. But boy, wasn't that fun? Stephen Ross thinks that the big play, pass play, it's awesome. It is in a way, but how much more fun is it beating the hell out of the opposition? 3rd and 9, you pick up 16, banging the stuffing out of the opponent. To me, that is way more fun. It was unbelievable. You saw Wright get the football. It was like the abominable snowman came onto the team and he was getting touches. Ollie Gordon got most touches I've ever seen. I'm going to go through it. And I was just happy. I even picked up a few little brewskis here, man, to celebrate because it was wonderful. This is what football's about. I'm not saying that it's portable to every game. I'm going to break down the details to celebrate this, but also to add context. But clearly, guys, Tua had a phenomenal game as a piece of the puzzle, working in conjunction with the run game and pass balance. I've heard for years I'm an idiot by some content providers and many viewers that, Tua sucks and the run game's really not that important. Not a lot of you guys, but there's a spattering among you. And there are some content providers who agree with me, but more often not. I get, well, Curtis, you want to run power football, but that's not what we do. And I put it in Twitter. I'm like, yeah, okay, I agree. But is that smart football? Is that right football? Guys, this was beautiful. If we had implemented this in 22, we could have seen something special in 22 and 23. We're here now. We're 2 and 6. But this should highlight real football evaluations. How beautiful a game was this? Again, I'm not going to say we're doing this, but in this moment, we saw real football in Miami. So let's get into it. I'm so happy. This is like a Curtis game. I feel great. I'm not saying the rest of the season. I don't care about it. I want this moment really highlights. We beat the Falcons in their house. Yes, they didn't have London. That is a context. Cousins was a little rusty, context. But when you attach what Tua can do in the short game and some of our speed players in the receiving game and what we have in the talent in the run game as far as running backs, the offensive line did its job, but really it's all the stuff wrapping around that allowed this offensive line to do their thing. It's going against a specific kind of defense. And McDaniel, to his credit, I'll get into it in a second. McDaniel, to his credit, he added the 6th offensive lineman. How many people have been screaming for that? I know in my comments, like, where is that? The Bills do it. Why don't we do it? And he brought it out at the perfect time. It was an arms race. I never thought that he would attack. And he outloaded the defense of the Falcons with this. It was perfect. Now, he didn't have to adjust, and that's one of the things. But this was beautiful. So, here's the little homage. Look at this. You got between RT and LT, look at all you've got the majority of your runs between the tackles and between. So, that's A, B, and C. But look at that. 5 on left guard, 2 in middle left, 4 on middle right, 2 on right guard, and then you got 5 and 6 on left tackle, 6 on left tackle, and 5 on right tackle. And this does what I've been saying. It changed the leverage. Guys, we were blitzed 48% of the time. Tua got it out quick and was able to offset. It only had 22% pressure. We had 29.6 play action. And I've talked about how legitimate play action Tua could do wonders with it. And he did. The guy threw 4 touchdowns with like 77% completion percentage. We ran high, 25.9 screens. But normally those screens are disastrous. But I've said also, screens are meant to take advantage of the blitz. If you're only getting blitzed 20-something% of the time and you're screening 20-something, it doesn't work. But when you're blitzed 48%, those screens, those play actions, and that run game work in conjunction with the speed of Waddle, Washington, and Tua to provide the great framework that we saw today. And again, it's our matchup of our talent versus them. It's not always going to be, but it's not always going to be the same. But if you had a great offensive line with the rest of this stuff, what would you have? So I heard him say that Jonah had a great game. Okay. But, let's take a look at this. So, yeah, you didn't really have anything over 20 yards. You had 1, you can see up top right, 0 for 1. 5 for 5 over the middle is what we like. But part of that is the blitz. When they blitz, it opens that stuff up. Where's that been for a while? Well, he had 158.3 quarterback rating. 0 for 1 on the outside. A lot of the stuff was in the 5 to 10 yard range. But that 5 for 5 was huge. And if you look at Josh Allen, he's got the bigger arm and all that stuff, but it looks very similar to this because this is where the league is heading. And when you tie it to that run game, it frees stuff up. Those linebackers had to come up. You had to blitz to thin the secondaries. And Tua just eviscerated him. 4 TDs, guys. 5 for 5 over the middle in the 10 to 20 range. And if this kind of play allows the framework that he set up, which was, hey, get ahead, have all these pass rushers, and then get after the quarterback. And we haven't been able to do that. And, for McDaniel, it was like spinal tap. Well, it goes to 11, you can turn high. Aiding this run game was what we needed to get where we had to go. This was a phenomenal win here. You look at the dispersion. 27 passes for the Dolphins, 37 runs. I've talked about the attempts. I think it's 90% of the teams with the top 10 rush attempts have a winning or don't have a losing record. And then it's the converse to the bottom 10. They had 31 passes to 17 rushes. This is the formula. Again, it's not because of our talent level. It's not going to work. If you look at Atlanta, they have a very small front. They've got a D-end, a Big Ite, 6'3", 256, or Hororo, I can't even say the guy's name, 6'4", 295. They've got Onyemata, 6'4", 300. And then they got Pierce, 6'5", 230, kind of a small linebacker. They're designed to stop the pass. And so this really, it worked out perfect for McDaniel to bring that 6 lineman in, for us to run our guys. And when you look at the attempts per player, they weren't exorbitant. They were in the 4 range for Achane and for Ollie Gordon. But it was the number of carries, 37, beat the hell out of them, stole their will to live. And that is football. It's a violent sport about stealing the will from somebody else by breaking down their body and then making them want to go home early. And that's what happened here. Tua played a phenomenal game. He had a few misses. He had the eye thing. But you can see what he can do if you provide the right stuff. This offensive line's not that good, but if you had top-end talent and then you add a nice tight end in there, you didn't need Waddle and Hill. You could have had one of those guys, a good offensive line and a good tight end and the run game, and then you could see what Tua could do. Could he stay healthy? That's a big factor we don't know. Would he be big through the big games? We don't know. But the consistency level, the success level certainly would have been raised. This was one of the few games where Tua had the framework to really shine his talents and raise his ability. And there were plenty of plays where he got out on the edge and he was able to hit guys. Again, he missed like 2 or 3 plays, but this is the formula. This is what I've been saying for years. This is what the NFL's been saying for years, guys. So I don't know what it means long term. Is it too little, too late? I don't know. But clearly, this is what the NFL's about. This is what we should have been about. And if Tua goes someplace else, he'll go someplace that does sort of this stuff, and he'll have success if he can stay healthy. Now, we'll see what it means going forward. We got a short week with the Ravens. I don't know if Lamar's going to be playing. He's been out for a while. Can we make something of the season? I think there's, if we get a few wins here, kind of knock us out of the quarterback range. Some people might not want that. But it's a shame. It's a shame that we did not have this style, this philosophy in 22 and 23. And we didn't build to facilitate this philosophy. But, guys, you should be happy. I was wrong. I was right in the philosophy. But in this game, I was totally wrong. I never guessed Mike McDaniel. Maybe the fake tough guy thing he's doing is working out, because he had intestinal fortitude and attacked that middle. So I'm going to enjoy doing film study this week, and I think you should enjoy watching it too. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Dolphins smoke Atlanta. More than smoked them. They beat them down into silly putty and smoked them, and that's the best kind of win you can get. I love this. I hate fumble. Can't complain. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed. Curtis saying, be well, go Fins. Curtis out. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.